Getting set for week number 3 for Monmouth football, fresh off the school's first ever FBS game against Central Michigan alongside the head coach Kevin Callahan. I'm Matt Harmon on the Monmouth Digital Network. And Coach, let's go back to Saturday, the lessons that maybe the team learned against a good opponent in Central Michigan.
Well, I think one of the things that we took away from the game is that, we can compete with anybody. I was very pleased with the way our kids played. I thought we showed a great deal of toughness. We played very physical, and that was one of the concerns going in. Central Michigan has always been a very physically tough team, and I thought we matched their physicality up and down the line, so I was very happy with that. One of the things that we did see coming out of it was the importance of executing. It doesn't really matter whom you play. If you don't execute, it's going to be difficult to have some success, and there were some times in that game where had we executed, I think we could have done a lot better.
How much has the focus been early on in this week in practice leading into Wagner, which we'll talk about, getting off to a little quicker start against Holy Cross and Central Michigan, maybe things a little bit on the slower start side?
Well, there's certain things that we've got to be able to do early in the game. In each of our first 2 games, I thought we've played outstanding in the second half, and while the defense started extremely well on Saturday at Central Michigan, had a tremendous first quarter, it was the second quarter that broke us down. So it wasn't initially the start of the game, it was a little bit later on, that second quarter, that gave us problems. On the offensive side, we struggled to move the ball the entire first half. I think we had 4 consecutive 3-and-outs, and that's something that we need to do a better job on.
When you think, obviously, very different set of circumstances going into this week's game against a longtime rival in Wagner.
Well, Wagner's had 2 weeks to prepare for us. Their opening game was 2 weeks ago at Rice. It was a game in which they lost, and I'm sure that they've spent the last 2 weeks, looking at what they're doing from a schematic standpoint, looking at areas like all football teams do, looking at areas where they can improve and do things better. And, we're expecting to see a Wagner team that's ready to go on Saturday.
For you personally, first time that this matchup has ever taken place where you won't look across the sideline and see Walt Hamline as the head coach.
It is, and he had been there a very long time. Last year was his last season, his last game against us. But there's still that rivalry. There's still that tradition that exists any time that Monmouth plays Wagner.
When you think about it from that offensive standpoint for Monmouth going into this game, getting off to that quick start, obviously really important, and the continued maturation of the quarterback, Cody Williams.
Well, Cody, like all the players on both sides of the ball, have to continue to improve each week. And I thought he showed a tremendous amount of progress in week 2 as opposed to week 1. And as long as he continues on that track and continues to make progress, he's going to be right where we need him to be.
When you think about it, obviously 2 tough losses going into this week 3 game. So the importance, number one, not just continue to play well, but obviously look for that first win.
Well, it's very important for this team to get a win. The guys are working extremely hard, and you want to see them be rewarded for all of that hard work. And to get a win on Saturday would be exactly what we need.
Coach, appreciate the time. Best of luck on Saturday.
Thanks, Matt.
Anthony, going into this week against Wagner, you've been with the program now for the last several years. You know the importance of this rivalry game. Doesn't matter anymore that you guys aren't in the same conference.
Not at all. We know Wagner's going to come to play. We have to bring our A games and play hard.
When you think about it defensively, you guys pitched a shutout in the second half against Central Michigan. Something to really build on going into this week against the Seahawks.
Definitely. We are pretty proud of the way we played against Central Michigan, especially in the second half. The first half we let up some plays and some bonehead mistakes, but we feel that, we see what kind of team we can be, and we are looking to go that way.
When you start to look at Wagner a little bit more specifically on film, break things down a little bit more, what kind of team do you see offensively?
Wagner, they're always going to play hard. The linemen always want to be chippy. The running backs are going to run. They have a plethora of running backs they can use. The receivers are big and tall. They have 2 different types of quarterbacks. One athletic, one is a more pocket passer. So we just have to be ready for everything. Their offense throws everything at us.
And when you think about it, for you guys on the defensive side of the ball, you're one of the veteran leaders on this team, but there's a lot of youth that's still grown in. Last couple of weeks probably give those guys a lot of experience, probably at this point starting to feel a little more comfortable.
We definitely have a lot of youth and veterans on the team. Some of the seniors are looking up to some more of the freshmen now because there's a lot more playing this year. So, we feel like it's a good mixture and we all can learn from each other.
When you think about the first 2 weeks on the defensive side of the ball, going into this game in week number 3, what is the one thing that you want to see your side of the football do a little bit better of a job?
Play like animals. We have to play like animals. We have to play like tamed animals. Do everything we're supposed to do, all good assignments, all right fits, and we'll come out victorious.
Anthony, appreciate the time. Best of luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
The annual game against the Wagner Seahawks coming Saturday evening, a 6 o'clock start. We'll be on the air on 1160, 1310 a.m. MonmouthHawks.com, ShoreSportsNetwork.com with our pregame show at 5:45. For Anthony McDonnaugh, Kevin Callahan, I'm Matt Harmon on the Monmouth Digital Network.